Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mind Refinery podcast, made by us, the Mind Refinery, creators of content, aggregators of popular culture, and the place where creatives go to thrive. I'm your host, Kyle Bodanis. This week, we're dipping back into the Star Wars universe and taking a look at the season finale of The Mandalorian. And if you're not already subscribing to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, please do so, and if you dig it, feel free to give us your finest reviews. And now, without further ado, here's the show. All right, guys, here to talk about the season finale of The Mandalorian are Mind Refinery creatives Andrew Van Eek.
Good evening.
Omar Morrison.
I'm here.
And Andrew Lanza, the incomparable
Hey.
Andrew Lanza. So, guys, let's get right into the nitty-gritty. Were we a little trigger happy with saying that this thing was turning into too much of a movie of the week type situation? Because I feel like this episode, I feel like the final 3 episodes of the season were fantastic, but especially the final 2 episodes and the season finale, fantastic. It had everything. It had death. It had Yoda. It had all these fantastic things. So what do we think, guys?
In-depth analysis.
An in-depth analysis. It had death.
Okay,
it
and
had
that's the podcast,
Yoda.
guys. Thanks for joining us.
And Baby Yoda. Bye for now.
We're going to be talking about other things that are Star Wars related, like lightsabers and
Dark sabers.
things that fly.
And the
Now
Force.
we're getting real dark sabers.
Okay, guys, how do we think about it? What do we think?
Yes, is the to answer your question. Yes, 100%. We were a little
Yeah.
too. I think personally, I wasn't ripping too hard on it because I wasn't minding that because I was getting sick of the Star Wars trying to hold so desperately to some sort of weird canon that isn't even actually written down anywhere. Like, so. Yes,
I mean, it's
we were
written down in
trigger
a bunch of
happy on it.
places.
It's written down in a bunch of places, but what are the official ones? And what? I don't know.
Well,
That whole part is lost.
we
on
could
me.
explain that.
Yeah, we
but
could.
We don't. we only have.
We only have.
No, I mean it finished strong. Like it finished real strong. Like we had some doubts. There was a bit of the villain of the week, like planet of the week kind of going on. And other than I think like the rookie bounty hunter episode was kind of a non sequitur. It didn't really have anything to do with anything. Other than that, they kind of tied in all the other episodes pretty nicely in the end.
that's what kind of really like made it okay. This wasn't in those episodes weren't in vain, at least, because like we kind of returned everything to where it needed to be. Everything kind of came back. I loved the what's Nick Nolte's Ugnaught character name? I can't remember.
Queel.
Queel.
Wow.
Excellent
Queel
memory.
was
Nice. Yep. Good call.
First of all, pour one out from my buddy Queel.
Yeah,
because
pouring out for Queel.
he just did it. This guy is taking. First of all, let's be serious.
That
here.
scene though,
He's the
when
only.
he died,
have
was like
spoken.
the editing was really
It
well
was
done.
really good.
Yeah.
Except for also like one
I
thing
have
that irked me a little bit was when they like trace his call, like he's like calling Queel, and they're like, and then the 2 stormtroopers are like, "All right, let's go. We know exactly where he is." I don't know if you remember that.
It's like calm down, NSA. It's like
They were just like, "Oh, he's leaving. We
Can I-
know exactly where he's
can I get
going."
some kind of Edward
Yeah.
Snowden stormtrooper to like rat this guy out? Like we just know where they are.
Yeah, it was just it took me
When
a
you're
bit.
pinging
out
a
of
cell phone tower.
it. Anyway,
No, I think that was.
There's a certain level of suspension of disbelief.
it was really like
There
but
is
I
a
mean,
Baby Yoda. We do have to suspend some kind of disbelief.
getting punched and shit. Fuck.
We're gonna get to
Okay.
the thing that I mean that triggered me like crazy. I think
You should get trigger warning on this episode.
Trigger warning, Baby Yoda.
I thought it was hilarious.
that he got punched.
man.
Obviously,
You're a
baby.
sociopath.
Obviously, baby. This guy's always wanting something to happen to babies.
Yeah, he always wants babies to be punched.
Yeah.
That's
It's like hurting babies. It's like hurting babies is like the telltale sign of a like real pro thing.
Yeah.
It is.
Like,
Oh,
nah, forget
man.
protecting. I don't want to see
It
babies
means
protected,
You're willing to go to the
colorful
next step for
birds,
the story.
animals. Nah, I just get it all, man.
Taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
There's gonna be documentaries made about this guy.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna watch
Okay.
on Netflix like a
Okay,
3-part
let's
series
move
on
it
Andrew.
on. Move it on.
Yeah. Okay. I
Moving
think we've
on.
unloaded into the friggin' this ass over here. But I think that basically, I loved seeing the Nick Nolte character again. The ending was good. Also, he's really the only one who actually takes care, other until IG-11. But he has to program IG-11 to take care.
The one lady on like Tatooine who ran like the spaceport.
Anybody who
Yeah.
treats he's like, we're out of here.
No, she treated him nicely.
No, that's what I'm saying though.
Oh.
Anybody who treats him nice, he's like, you being too nice to this kid? You're spoiling them. We're out of here. We're going to we're going to another planet. We're leaving this galaxy.
Wow, yeah. Do you think it's a jealousy thing?
Who knows?
That's my baby Yoda.
That those people. Okay, one
No,
it's a
he's mine.
one is a jealousy thing, and two, it's like it really brings home his inadequacies as a father.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it could possibly be he kind of feels the same, like he feels something because he was in a similar position as a kid and someone came and saved him. So it's kind of like the
Oh.
Mandalorian. You know
It's
what
not
I
the
mean?
Mandalorian way. It's not the Mandalorian way. You know
I
what
think
mean?
he looks at
It's not
that
that
kid
stoic.
like, hey, like I was in this position.
What do we think about baby? Like, well, actually, you know, I'm gonna ask this question. Let's move into like episode highlights.
Yeah.
And let's do the last two because we never really got a chance to. I feel like they're all part of one unit. Like, what are our favorite parts of the episode? I'll start with mine. Mine is Baby Yoda coming into the being part of his tribe, being part of his clan. You know, I love that. And then, you know, what was the name of the animal that Baby Yoda first force powers?
Razorback or
The
something?
Razorback.
The Razorback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I think
how
it's
now he's allowed to have the Razorback signet because it was so good. Because
I
Baby
like
Yoda
that.
is
All
because remember at
together.
first he's like, he's my enemy. I can't take credit for the kill. But then now because they're in the same clan, he can. It's just a very special moment.
My goddamn heart.
I
They
really
couldn't
like
take
that
it, yeah.
moment. That was really deep how they tied that all back in. For that was being his kill that got him his armor in the first place.
Yeah.
And now that they have to be a clan together, I think I'm ecstatic.
And just
I love
lends
it.
itself again to like we talked about before, like the upgrading the armor. Such a cool motif.
Yeah.
Want more of that. I love that. Like he still has more things to upgrade. I'm down.
Oh, yeah.
When he gets the jetpack,
Oh,
That would be
forgot.
something
That was
in a video
awesome.
game
I
that
almost-
you'd be trying to get so
Yes.
and remember
hard.
how you like
Oh yeah, you have to get 100 hidden packages for the jetpack.
you were like wondering how they're going to incorporate that. They're like every
Yeah.
other one of these
Yeah.
people has this thing. Why doesn't this guy have one? And then it's like a rite of passage, like everything else, and he gets it because he did.
It reminded me of
Yeah,
like in
it's
Shadows of the Empire, the video game, when you go to Gaul Spaceport and finally get the backpack.
and it controls so horribly.
No, you're just all over the place. You're trying to fight Boba Fett, and you're just
No, you're stuck on all the ceilings. You remember it being
when
good?
I first got it. Like now I can like do it. I
Oh,
can
man.
operate
You're like
that
a surgeon
jetpack.
with it.
Now I can operate that jetpack better than I can probably walk myself.
Wow,
But
that's impressive.
I'm just like this is but that's only from like obscene amounts of failure. Being like, yes, all I have to do is jetpack across the spaceport to this one platform, and then you see your jetpack run out of fuel as you just miss
and then
they-
remember the fight with Boba Fett?
Boba Fett.
Yeah. Oh wait, are you talking? You were talking about Shadows of the
No,
Empire?
I'm just giving you a hard time. We're talking about Shadows of the Empire. That fight with Boba Fett.
Yeah, the fight with Boba Fett is so hard. Anyway, off topic.
I mean, it's hard if you have rudimentary skills.
oh man.
Dark Saber.
Oh
I'm offended.
shit. I was so happy when I saw that.
yeah.
Like the dark saber is
What
probably
is
one
it
of the
from originally?
it
one?
was a
What
big
do we know
deal
about
in the Clone Wars series.
And it's gonna. I will follow up with that with
Yeah.
this
A
question.
Mandalorian created it, right?
It really with the presence of the dark saber gets into the Mandalorian lore.
It's the first
Mandalorian
the
Jedi.
first Mandalorian that was inducted to the Jedi Order made that saber.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's
So
fucking
it's we mentioned it. I think we mentioned it off mic. I believe me and Boyan were talking about it, but seeing it now, I kind of like am so hyped for season 2 because that is
So
a whole
hyped.
backstory within itself.
And you know what? Like in doubling down on the Mandalorian part, because we mentioned the Baby Yoda becoming part of his clan, but just the scene with the Mandalorian armor again. I love that. Like that was such. And then
just the sequence where it's like cutting in between like the memories of him like
Yeah.
like getting like shelled or whatever when he was a kid,
Mhm.
and then it's like cutting with her like making like the female Mandalorian, I forgot her name, but like making the like the armor from the metal. Oh, the Vesper. That's one of my favorites. I think that was maybe episode 2.
yeah.
That was one of my favorite scenes.
And in
of
this
the
one where she
series.
cleans out those stormtroopers,
Oh,
such a good
God.
fighting sequence.
Damn, so
It
good.
was well put together. I
Oh
mean,
my
these. I mean, we'll get into the directors a little bit, but those scenes were put together so well. And like now, I want to know. I want more of the Mandalorian story in
The
in the
lore,
live
yeah.
action. So I mean, I guess the thing is like, where do we think he got that from? Because obviously he would have had to kill a Mandalorian like leader. Like who do you know, Omar? Because you are definitely way up on study on the Clone Wars and Rebel stuff. Who would have had that, do you think, before he got it?
It would have been, I'm guessing, the Death Watch. Boyan, if you can clarify that. I'm guessing the Death Watch, which was they were kind of like a cult, and then they were taken over.
And they split too, right? Because
Yeah.
like originally they like because because Darth Maul began running it, and then all of a sudden they didn't want a non-Mandalorian running Death Watch, and then
because Darth Maul killed the last owner of the saber, and then
this is like some Elder Wand Harry Potter shit.
it's kind of like that
I'm
because
fascinated.
they put it in.
I'm
The
trigger
Jedi hold it
fascinated.
in such high regards just because of
Triggered,
you
but
know,
triggered for
Stony one.
fascination.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe he would have. So that's really what I want to know.
I
Where is this
think-
coming from? And how did Giancarlo Esposito? How did Gideon get it?
To me, because I'm again with Disney having control over this, I have no idea what they're going to keep and what they're not.
Yeah.
But I believe it goes back to they kind of mentioned how the Empire kind of wiped them out on their home planet of Mandalore.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he must have been a part, whether before he was a general or whatever, a part of that strike team that went there. And there's a reason why his name is kind of
And he's the one who led
know.
that strike team in. That's probably in the.
yeah.
And it's almost like a trophy for him. So you don't think
Yeah.
so you don't think he's like a Force user?
I mean,
Or is he like a Grievous?
I wouldn't like I would think more of a Grievous character where
So like adept at fighting against the Force.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
think he took that as kind of like a momentum for wiping out
Yeah, like a
probably one of
trophy.
the best warrior races
Mhm.
in the
It's
galaxy.
like Predator. That's his
Essentially.
skull. So yeah, I kind of think it is like the trophy. It's the Predator thing. Grievous
Yeah.
taking the lightsabers. You know what I mean? Which I think is cool.
I
And I love
like
how they showed it too, cutting through the TIE, which I thought the TIE fighter thing was cool.
Oh, that was
I was
I
like,
thought
this
that
is
was
great.
great.
And those troopers, like the troopers that like the elite troopers that fire upon them.
Oh,
The red,
Oh,
red,
oh,
red
yeah.
strike
yeah.
guys.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
red guys. Yeah.
Yo, the
Okay,
fire trooper.
So that
was a cool part.
and that leads to I think one of the strongest things that really came out. It's in the whole series, really, but especially in the last 2 episodes. Dude, the costume design is insane in the show. He
Yep.
did such a good job. Like how all of them, the stormtrooper, like we've in all of Star Wars, we've always just seen shiny stormtrooper
Yeah.
outfits, and now because the Empire is
They're all
like,
decrepit.
they're decrepit and
Yeah.
in different ways, and even the way they tech them down just looks so.
It's got
so
that.
cool.
It really
It's
gets that
gritty.
grizzled veteran
Yeah.
look.
Like the last of the last, kind of like the hangers on.
And the
Right.
production
It's almost
design
like
was. Sorry, continue.
It's almost like a cult, almost like with
Yeah.
like Werner Herzog with his like his like fucking like black arts like pentagrammy kind of necklace and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like the last remnants of a cult. It's almost like the occult.
First of all, pour one out for my boy Werner Herzog.
Okay, so wait, I don't remember that like the scene specifically. Is he for sure dead? Are we confirming he's dead?
he's dead.
Yeah.
You think?
Do we know? I think he's dead. He got
I think
I
he's
feel
dead.
like I feel like it got
I
like
think
kind of
he's
blown
dead.
up and then like rubble fell on him and like we didn't really see him. I don't know. I'd have to re-examine it to be honest.
Doesn't he get blasted right through the chest?
Does he?
Yeah.
I don't remember. That's what I'm asking.
They also
I think
talked
he gets
about the
shot.
power
Okay.
of that cannon beforehand too.
Yeah.
Oh, true,
Yeah.
true.
Also,
true.
but like I kind of want
They like
you
actually
to be,
reference like
I want
before-
you to be correct though. Like I
I
don't think
want more
we're
Werner
gonna
Herzog.
benefit from less Werner Herzog.
He's a clone.
There's just baby Herzog. Someone's
Oh,
walking around with
man.
baby Herzog.
Oh,
Just calling people cowards.
Yo, instead of like Grizzly Man, it's like Cub Man. He's making little.
Honestly, I would watch that so hard.
I'd watch it just to show on that.
And then,
It'd be
like,
like
the
it'd be like the Fireplace channel on TV. It's just baby Herzog on TV over and over again.
The ultimate clash between Baby Yoda versus Baby Herzog.
Oh man.
That would be.
Force
watch it.
powers versus directorial powers.
Yeah.
Well, I think Disney's listening. You might get what you want.
He had to be. He had to be a fan
Just like
favorite.
furiously scribbling
Throw it
notes.
down.
I mean, he was kind of my favorite the whole season, but I think it might be biased because, I mean, he's just I'm biased because he's incredible. I mean, that's really what it is. I want to know.
He was great.
I want to know what you guys thought about the IG-11 situation, though.
Loved it.
I
What
absolutely,
specifically?
I really, I loved everything about the IG-11 situation. I love that.
I love that it's Taika Waititi too that's doing the
Yeah.
voice. Like
Pour one out.
We're gonna-
not pour one
not
out
pour
for
one out,
pour one out
just
for
mad-
IG-11. But
IG-11,
Taika
yeah.
is very much alive and directing.
big ups to everything that Taika Waititi is doing. This guy is just like what he's just randomly the voice. He's just directing these crazy huge movies,
Acting.
different movies, indie movies, acting and
Yeah.
stuff.
Fucking
And then he's
Thor.
IG-11.
And also
What a
directing
combination.
and
Thor.
directing
Yeah.
that last episode too.
What a combination
is-
for the final two. It was Deborah Chow and Taika Waititi, and they were incredible.
Oh, another
Yeah.
one. Deborah Chow just like directing one of and completely nailing probably we were talking about it earlier, maybe the 2 best episodes.
Two best episodes for
And that's a Toronto-born.
Wait, which are the two episodes though?
3 and 7.
Yes,
the ones-
fantastic.
Are the Deborah Chow directed ones, and like to get to that point in your directing career is hard for anybody, and then to do it as a Canadian, and then to do it as a female and a minority, those are like a whole bunch of mountains that she had to climb that other people did not, and she's at the top of her game, and
She's got mad
awesome,
skills.
awesome to watch.
And it makes me feel better about, again, I mentioned in a previous podcast about Kenobi.
Yeah.
Because she's one of the primary.
I didn't know that. That's fucking
She's
awesome.
doing.
That's
I
exciting.
she directed a bunch of the episodes and been a big, driving force in it, which is fantastic because I think given some of the our thoughts on how the movie situation is going, stacking the talent on the TV side is fantastic. But I thought getting back to the IG-11, I mean, I think the IG-11 is there's so much to get into.
There's a lot.
That's the beauty of
They made a Star Wars thing that we care, that we have this much good stuff to say, that we like. That's crazy.
Exactly. But shout outs to you for bringing it back. You're keeping us on task.
Yeah. IG-11.
IG-11.
What? Well, are we talking about his badass motion? Like we could even get in.
Yeah.
for
I mean, we talked about that.
The voice work,
Yeah, we already
the
did
mock-up
that.
of the character is amazing. Again, I'm an IG-88 fan, so seeing the IG droid is freaking awesome. I would have liked some like neural inhibitor action going on, but you can't get greedy. I thought that also, like the big thing from like a character standpoint, and Mando, who, as we're going to talk about, we see his face, which is fantastic, and we learn his name.
What? You thought it was fantastic?
What?
Why?
You
That
didn't
you
like
saw
that?
his face?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
What?
what?
No. What?
What?
Whoa.
I thought that was.
All right.
I thought that was the biggest misstep of the entire. Okay, minus the
I think
bad.
that beard's
Really?
the step of the time.
Okay, let's not talk about missteps, my friend.
I know. I got
Oh,
everything
Matt.
about me is a misstep.
I haven't seen a main step.
Okay, so are we going?
Anyway.
Are we going straight into a
Let's-
quick?
Sidebar. Why don't you
Sidebar?
like that?
Yeah. We
Okay.
Gotta, you
Like-
can't just let that.
His whole thing
Mhm.
was like Mandalorian. Like he can't take off the mask. They
No
like set
living
that.
thing, and then he's not living.
Yeah, remember that part? He says, "I'm not living," so a living person doesn't see it.
So then he's
Yeah.
okay with it. I thought it was so clean. What was wrong with that?
No, didn't the girl see it?
No.
No.
Well,
Oh.
now I swear I thought the girl
want
saw
you
Now
to
it.
I'm bad
rewatch-
triggered.
I want you to rewatch that scene and tell me it doesn't work, knowing that the robot. IG-11 just goes.
Right. Okay. I still don't like that we saw it. Honestly, like I know it's Pedro Pascal and he's got to you're paying for him and he's in
You're
the
paying
mask.
for him.
But
You
like
said
I'm
it
not
right
paying this
there.
guy's SAG rate so I can not
cover
see
his
him.
face. I know, but
And you
I
are
didn't
you're
want-
paying, you're
sorry.
paying apparently for his physical acting, which we've talked
Yeah.
about before. It's just
Well,
off the
it's
charts.
it is multiple people in the
yeah. Sure.
that has been brought to my attention multiple times. But yeah, no, I didn't like that we saw it. Like even if he was gonna take off his mask, they should have just cut or like done it from behind or something. I don't know. I like the mystique. I didn't like showing his face at all.
At all?
All right.
Oh man,
I
I,
didn't
thought
think
that
that
was
was-
really
Do-
powerful. I
Kyle,
loved
do you
it.
want to say why you did like it, just so we don't spend a whole?
Because it looks like
episode-
veins popping above my eye. No, I think listen, it depends on because they worked out that a living person didn't see it. Because he's like, I need to take off your mask. I'm like, oh, this guy's not gonna sell out already. Season 1, this guy's selling out. Then nah, it's the IG-11. If you can't trust your nurse droid with your own physical appearance,
They shouldn't have
even-
showed it. They shouldn't have showed
And
it.
it wasn't even like Band-Aid solution there either, because they had been talking on tons of times of he reminds them that he's a droid. I'm just a reflection of you.
Yeah.
Or Queel says it too.
Yeah.
This droid is just a mirror. It's nothing or whatever. So I don't know.
having it I do not seeing his face has a V for Vendetta quality to it,
Mhm.
where I love not seeing him, right? But I mean, I like that they showed it once. It was a reveal at the end of the season. They, put a lid on that shit literally afterwards. And I mean, I thought it was really good. I think that's maybe, a choice. I don't maybe agree with your assessment of that, but I definitely didn't want to see more of it. I was more like,
But now I'm now maybe that's gonna usher in. The
also his
whole-
hair was perfect for being under a helmet for that long.
No helmet hair, no sweaty helmet hair whatsoever. It was immaculate.
It wasn't that it was it was just looked like it had a helmet on.
It was like he just woke up. Oh, it's accidentally like that.
Yeah, there's
He
no
was
perm.
He woke
for
up like
style.
that.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the IG-11
Real
Pedro
quick.
Pascal is pretty ruggedly handsome. Maybe
Oh,
that's
he
what
is-
he just
He
wakes
is
up and he looks like.
fantastic.
Oh,
I
he's
told
a-
you
he's a
this
handsome
guy
guy.
is this guy is going to be in even after this more
Dreamy as fuck.
action stuff. But let's just wrap up with the IG-11 thing. His death was fantastic. I feel like it
liked it.
affected me on a personal level. I also feel like this guy could have taken these guys out. You're telling me this guy had to self-destruct? This guy is killing. He's like,
All
maybe,
over the
maybe
place.
that whole thing got nerfed by Queel.
It was
kind of thing.
because they were
nerfing.
they were in a lava river approaching a small.
Couldn't he just do this?
I don't know.
Like he's got his arms out and he's firing.
I honestly, that whole scene is just, it was so cool how
I like
It was
It
well
was
done. It was well
good.
done.
it was just so smart.
I'm
Like
just-
the droid has obviously analyzed all the
I'm just being a
situations.
stick
He's
in the
like,
mud.
there's
Yeah.
one that we get out of this, and it only involves me self-destructing. That's the only.
I
way.
think
no,
maybe
you want him back. I get it.
I think maybe if he had done, went
I
out
do.
there
I
like
li-
shooting
I
or
feel
whatever. I think if he went out there shooting, I think somebody probably would have died, and that's probably why.
And then it would have been.
I'm
cheesy.
clearly-
They
I-
would have fallen into
No?
a cheese.
No,
hole.
I think you're just really revealing a maturity difference from you. And me. I'm like, how can we take these guys out and fuck them? And you're like, no, Kyle, we have to be just a little bit more mature about it. And I'm like, I hate you, Omar. And I'm like,
It's okay, man.
You're totally right. You're totally right. Discretion is a better part of valor. 100%.
No, I just really liked the scene. I thought it was like reminiscent of kind of even like Terminator 2, that whole lava thing where he steps into the lava.
Totally.
Like I loved it.
Yeah.
That's where I was.
Yes.
thumbs up.
Can you imagine if he did that?
Oh,
I was
that
waiting,
was
I was
just
waiting
dropped
for it.
down.
Yeah.
And the thumb just dropped
And-
down.
And
John Connor's crying.
Yeah.
Also, it totally they did
So
made a lot of choices like this where they got to avoid melodrama by doing something, just taking a little bit,
Yeah.
wearing a little bit over. So instead of him getting shot up and then into the lava, like this,
Yeah.
kind of drawn out thing we've seen 1,000 times, blow him up and gone.
Gone and it's
Yeah.
done.
And then the scene's over, and it's just like
And again, the relationship between them, like where he hates droids, and all of a sudden, like this one earns his respect
yeah.
and his admiration. Like he genuinely, it's the John Connor thing. No, well, you don't have to go. He's like, I must.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I must go. And he's like,
Thumbs
no,
up.
I love it.
Sacrifice, man.
Shout out. I think that was a little nod to James Cameron.
Probably.
He was in a
You know
bunker
what?
somewhere trying to figure out the technology to do his next movie. He's going to need nanorobots to shoot it.
Jesus,
gonna be
I don't
absolutely
know what that
fantastic.
is.
It's gonna be great.
So I want to move on to discussing Giancarlo Esposito, who is absolutely fantastic, and him being in this, I thought was cool. What do we think of Gideon? Come on. What do we think?
I
He's been teased the whole season.
I really like his character for the fact of his calm composure
Mhm.
through everything, and how like they've always portrayed the Empire as this ruthless, like I guess you could say trigger happy kind of organization, where this guy comes in, you think that he's just gonna just blast everybody and not even ask questions, where has this diplomatic appeal, but it still sounds so sinister.
so sinister.
Like
He's
so
pretty much the
like,
Gus.
I love it.
He's pretty much like
He's
the
Gus.
space Gus Fring.
Yeah.
From
He's Gus Fring.
yeah, like from Breaking Bad. Like that's pretty much it. I'm like, which for the record, I'm totally cool with.
Maybe
I'm
John,
totally cool
maybe
with
John
it.
Favreau.
100%.
That's what he said to him. What he Gus Fring
Yeah.
in space
But he's like kind of Darth Vader-y.
instead of meth, it's spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just what I really loved about it is that it went back to this whole actually evil type villain, not these cartoons
Yeah,
running around
comically
being
bad.
like
Yeah.
the sergeant from Loaded Weapon just screaming at you like ah, like you know what I mean. This guy is like
Or
cool.
even Snoke. He's like the
Yeah.
anti-Snoke, right? This
Yeah.
weird like.
or the,
Yeah,
or the
he's-
Dom
yeah,
Hall,
he's
like,
slick
Dom-
as fuck.
like,
It's
in
just
like in those movies, like how ridiculous is like Domhnall Gleeson's character? Like it's terrible.
I'm the spy.
Yeah, it's like it's just like they become these like cartoonish villains that aren't menacing. But when you're a kid and you watch Empire Strikes Back, the Empire is menacing.
Yeah.
They are something to be afraid of.
No, he's fucking like he's cool. Like that's the
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
fucking he's slick.
Because
Like,
Darth
he's,
Vader's cool too. Yeah.
but he's cool in a different way.
Just
Darth Vader's like
No,
menacing.
I'm
like
just-
this guy's like cool.
But
Sort of, like-
they exhibit. What you're saying is they exhibit chill, and by doing that, not being these stupid caricatures of a villain,
Yeah.
they can establish their own cool.
A good villain has to have an allure, an appeal, as well
And a mystique.
and a mystique, as well as a hateable.
And
quality,
you're
right?
supposed to kind of, for lack of a better saying, like you're supposed to actually like the villain, kind of subconsciously rooting for the villain.
We
even
love
though at
Darth
the
Vader.
end-
Yeah.
like
We
Vader
love
was
Darth Maul.
amazing.
We were like, Darth Maul was a big baddie that we were like, we want more.
And
And
now
when we
I
got it, and
wish we could get
and
more
we,
of Darth
you know,
Maul.
in the live action
Yeah.
situation, obviously we saw a little bit of it in Solo.
Yeah.
But you know, when it was kind of fan service
Yeah.
having him in the Clone Wars and Rebel, like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's the exact type of fan service I like because they created an intriguing story.
And they
behind
showed
it.
us what we wanted because they knew
Yeah.
that the fans wanted more Maul, and they gave it to us. So I'm
And
totally
you need
okay
a
with it.
good you have to have a good villain in this type of movie.
Yeah.
If you're in any kind of fantasy thing, like
Yeah.
the yin and yang of the villain and the hero, like it has to be good, it has to be balanced. There has to be, you know, there has to be someone worthy of fear, because if you don't have any stakes, like there's no writing.
Yeah.
And that was my problem, you know, with the newer movies is that the villains are cartoony and like there's no stakes, which means there's no tension.
Right.
Yeah.
See,
And like if you're a kid, when now, like, because remember last episode you were saying if you're a kid now you would love watching this show. If you're a kid now, you probably think he's pretty menacing.
right.
Yeah.
Very.
Absolutely.
It also set
For
up
sure.
because they didn't make him cut and dry and just come in blasting and try to scare you that way.
Yeah.
Now the whole, you know, his whole monologue where he's like, if you're asking if I'll ask, like, if you can trust me, no, and that whole thing. By creating a dynamic villain, you've set up way more for future seasons and whatever, because he didn't just kill them right away. He's like, it works in my best interest right now to not kill you right this minute, so I won't. And then, yeah, if you think of how that leaves it open ended for next season,
He's so calculated. Like
Yeah.
that's how you know that next season it's gonna be.
it's gonna be on.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
they did a good job of like establishing him as like the big bad,
Mhm.
at least for like the last couple episodes. It's gonna carry on through the season 2. Like they built that up nicely, and
Right.
season
First
2.
they're getting chased by bounty hunters, and now season 2 it appears they're going to be getting chased by him.
Yeah, and
Which is-
especially
yeah.
while they're
Cool.
trying to find
they've
Yoda's
upped-
planet,
yeah,
right?
and they've upped the stakes without any.
How do you feel about that being the kind of the center, the chase, if you will, while, you know, Mando's trying to find Yoda's planet, which I think is cool because now it kind of grounds. Now, if there is that kind of movie of the week thing, it's like kind of like they're trying to find the planet so you
Yeah.
can wrap it in an overall series purpose,
And I think
which
that's
is way better easier for the writing too.
easier for the writing.
Lots of options.
It lends itself to, you know, an episodic structure, and it's good. You've got like
Yeah.
basically we were worried that there wasn't enough story arc here, and now it turns out after season 1 they've implanted like a really, really good through line from which to work from. So
And maybe one of those cases where the first season, there's lots of shows where the first season is decent,
Yeah.
maybe to good, but then it starts things come into their own.
fingers crossed. Maybe
Yeah,
it's this.
and
Maybe
I
it's
was
this.
and in the last 3 episodes, but the last 2 episodes I thought were fantastic. I'm really excited to where it's going. I like the idea of we are getting into the Mandalorian lore. And I love that now in that lore we have this bad guy who, you know, is directly involved in it, and that all those
Yeah.
things are going to kind of, the flashbacks are going to likely come together.
Yep.
Because if he's got the Darksaber, we know he's obviously taking it from a Mandalorian,
Mandalorian,
or
yep.
someone who has been involved in in that storyline, and, you know, his personal story, and it will kind of show how, and like any villain in a fantasy situation, the hero and the villain, their stories, you know, end up being intertwined.
Yep.
And it's a classic trope that they've taken for that, but I think it's going to be, you know, really super cool with it, you know.
And
Yeah.
And I kind of got the vibe. I don't know if you guys did at the end when he cuts through the TIE fighter with the Darksaber, and you kind of see the expression on his face. It's kind of like that was probably his first. I won't say his first, but maybe he was not expecting to lose at that moment.
Absolutely.
Like, I
Yeah.
think this is the first time it's going to be personal, and I think that's what's going to be
That's a really good
an
point.
underlying driving thing in his personality is that I think Mando made this personal for him.
It's the first time he's been bested.
Bested.
He got bested good.
Yeah.
He used a rocket bag and slapped a little, you know, remote mine or whatever it
Yeah.
was on there.
And got him.
It was.
I mean,
awesome.
I think part
That
of
was
it,
good
yeah,
action.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
was
loved
it was
it.
To
good.
quote
To my
Kyle's
grandfather, to quote my
grandfather.
grandfather, good action.
Good action. That was some high quality. Good
Yeah,
VFX
It was
too.
excellent. Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
in a TV show, how lucky are we? Like, yeah, man. 5 years ago, the VFX in a series would compare to that is just absolutely mind blowing.
It's insane.
Can't get over it.
Yeah,
It's Hollywood quality, top tier film on TV. on a computer.
Yeah, I mean the set pieces in that final episode I thought were really good, especially the shootout, at the end and all that kind of thing. And then also
The one thing about the shootout though is he kind of like commandeers the big gun again, and like he kind of did that from the first episode. I was like, isn't that how he saved? Like, isn't that exactly how he did the first episode?
I'm also kind of unimpressed with the big gun being taken as an action trope. Like someone will come in with like a ridiculous big gun, and then I feel like in any action movie, it's like they'll get the big gun.
Yeah.
And then this happened in the first
you're
episode
screwed.
and the last episode of the season, like the
The
exact same thing.
ATST in Jedi.
And the-
Jedi.
Yeah.
You know
well,
what I mean?
I know, but I'm saying specifically in Mando.
No. Yeah, sure.
But no, it's
Well,
a trope
doubles,
across.
It just doubles down on the point.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry, that was just one aside as for the shootout.
No,
I mean, the shootout was fun
no, I
though.
think
The
that's a good
shootout was great action, good action, but
Good action.
yeah.
Okay, but see, and I didn't like the big gun there for that, but I really liked it for the part when when Giancarlo has him point blank, and then he just turns down and shoots that box of whatever
was good.
generates it
I
and
really
blows it
liked
up.
that.
That was unexpected.
That
and
was
and that was
yeah.
really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was like a more sure kill shot because he's so calculated, or maybe I don't know.
Maybe
Why
I
did
guess
he do it that way? I don't know.
I
But
guess
it
it's
was
just a nod to his personality. Like he's not gonna go and be like, I have him dead to rights. I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna shoot that, take away the weapon in case he survives, and on top of that, injure
cool.
him.
Yeah. See?
I was
Kind of
glad
thing,
he
you
did
know what I
well
mean?
in this episode because like there's some times where he just flat out gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy's supposed to be a legendary warrior. I'm like, can this guy fight better?
No, and like what about his flamethrower? Like his wrist flamethrower, the most ineffectual thing ever. Every time he uses it, it does like nothing.
I feel like coming out of your wrist,
He,
it's
like,
too
burns the
short.
nose hairs on
It's
the
too
Razorback.
short range a weapon for fire.
Yeah,
Like I don't want a short range fire weapon.
yeah.
I don't want to fucking light myself up every time. Like, can I get some like I don't know something there? I remember he's got those like sparrow things just for a little bit of time. Those would have been effective.
Yeah, he gets
Yeah.
them.
But I
like,
want
what are they
more-
called?
Yeah.
He gets them and then he like uses them and then
I'm
they
like,
don't
why
really
don't
do
you
much.
swap out the wrist thrower for some of maybe of those?
I wonder if they're being.
Yeah. They're like rare.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay,
I think another thing.
that's a point. I want to know. I want something other than the wrist flamethrower.
Okay,
We can think of something
I
else.
think that what they probably are being cognizant to not be like go gadget, just have like cheesy fucking
Wow,
every
yeah.
time
Go
it's a
gadget
bad,
rocket launcher.
Right? I bet they had a discussion in a
No.
production meeting like
This guy can't
we
get
don't want
every
him
weapon.
just getting every situation. Oh, the key, like now I've got a lock breaker in this. It's like
Yeah.
you got to kind of mitigate that.
Absolutely.
you
So-
have.
No, I think that's a good point. Yeah. No, because you don't
So
want this.
hopefully he can get, and then I think you do that through having him get these like it's special. It's like hard to acquire.
Yeah.
Because that's a
Yeah.
risk. Like, look how armed. Like, even when you were a kid, look how watching Boba Fett. Like, how many weapons this guy
Yeah,
have.
right.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, like when they started, like obviously creating more weapons from toy wise, I'm
Yeah.
like,
His little antenna turns into a machine gun.
yeah,
and
I'm like,
gets
how
the kill shot on
many?
the
I'm
guy's
like,
face.
how many things? I'm like, how many things does he have? So I want to move on just to the final thing I want to discuss. Like overall first season impressions. I mean, like if you're Jon Favreau, are we taking a W or are we taking a loss on this?
Huge W.
Wow.
I
No,
think
I didn't
that-
want to steal the show. I didn't want to
This
answer that
guy
one
says
first.
huge
Steal
and
the
then
show.
points it
This
off,
thing,
points it-
if this show is about anything else, it's one-upsmanship.
Yeah, I did not want. I wanted Lance to say it. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, it's a W. I don't know.
I think it's a W. I liked it. I like how it tied in at the end. It's what
Are
I
you excited
wanted.
for the next season?
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
That makes me excited for Star Wars TV shows, period.
Well, yeah, because we talked about this. I mentioned this in the last, in our other podcast about it. That I think now that the it's kind of mirroring the business model for feature film that TV is now becoming, just because of the way things are with TV and its place in culture and creativity and storytelling, that TV is very likely to be the new home for it, where it reaches its best situation. The only thing I would like to see is a TV show that works in a different timeline. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see something that, like, the thing I like about this, I like this, and I like that it's, it's timeline, but I want to see something that is like Old Republic.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that in the movies. I want to see that in TV.
Isn't that going to be the next movie?
I hope it. I hope. I'd
I
rather
heard they're going to do a
heard,
trilogy,
like,
but then I
trilogy,
heard they're cutting it down to one.
Like, wouldn't you rather see an Old Republic television show?
I want to
With
see.
this
I will
production level?
literally take any Old Republic, anything.
I agree.
If it's a TV show, cool. If it's a movie, cool.
Absolutely
If
agree.
if I
Yeah,
have
we're
to
so
choose,
starved for it.
Yeah.
I feel you.
if I have to choose, I would probably say TV show, but I would literally take anything. But now Revan's canon, so
Yeah.
I love that Revan's canon because he's fantastic character.
One of my
yeah.
favorite characters in Star Wars
absolutely
by far.
for the first
How
game.
does something get inducted into canon?
Well, so what it is
Explain that to
they
me for
there's
anybody that
there was a
might not
platoon.
understand.
I don't know the exact things, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But there's a platoon that in like a Star Wars compendium that was in the new movie. Like the platoon was in the new movie, and they're called like the Riven's First or like the Riven's Fourth or something like that. And like Riven is like the original Sith Lord, like the first ever Sith
Okay.
Lord. And there's like if you've no. Sorry, Malik? No. Oh, okay.
Who are we calling the first Sith Lord? Ooh, yeah.
Okay,
Marco
he's
Yeah,
one
I
of
think
he's
you're
one
right.
of the originals. I apologize. He's one of the originals. And
Ladies
like
gentlemen,
if you
Boyan technical.
no, he's got to keep me on point. And like if you play like Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2,
Have it on my phone. Great game.
so
Sorry.
good. So if
It's
there
like when I got Mortal Kombat on my phone. I'm just like, oh,
Oh,
Bye,
yep.
life.
Yep.
so yeah, so those two games for the original Xbox and whatever PC, etc. There's like a huge twist that like regarding that character, and now that he's canon,
it's a good twist.
It's-
Spoil it. He doesn't care.
I don't care. I've played it many times.
no,
It's fine.
I mean, you the character like your Revan is the spoiler.
Yeah.
It's like you're the guy.
Spoiler: if you haven't played this game that's like 12 years old, which I
More
don't care
than
about
12.
anymore.
More than
Yeah.
12
Oh
years
yeah,
old.
it's old. I just played it. I'm like,
Anyway,
wow.
yeah. So you play the whole game, like, and then
Thinking
you,
you're finding this guy, and then
and
it's
then
you?
it's
and then
and
you
it's like
are
a self-fulfilling
him, and you're like,
prophecy.
and this is you.
That's pretty.
It's
That's awesome.
and it's like the payoff is like you don't even see it
And
come.
everybody around you knew about it.
It's
That's
the
what
best
was-
Star
yeah.
Wars video
Yeah.
game, and it's
then
one of
you
the best
look
Star
back
Wars
all
stories.
the way through.
Yeah,
it,
they show you
and then-
cutscenes of all the hints.
Yeah.
Through conversations.
Can we
that
think of
you've
a better
had.
Star Wars
Yeah.
video game that like that's for me?
Oh
That
no,
sounds
it's my
cool.
favorite.
KOTOR
pretty
2 maybe is the only
Yeah,
game
you're
that
digging
comes
in,
close.
but it's like you're digging for KOTOR
but it's like
to get it.
KOTOR.
Yeah.
And then like other than that,
The only ones I would
Rogue
like as much
Squadron?
have nothing. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Rogue Squadron.
I
It's
love
it's
Rogue
just
Squadron.
it's the like fighter that World War II fighter simulation
yeah, like
style.
the more like arcadey one, not
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
TIE like X-wing versus TIE fighter
No,
from
no,
like
no,
back
yeah,
in the day, like
100%.
the arcadey Rogue Squadron series, whatever. Yeah. Ajunta Paul
Magenta
Is the
Ball?
first Sith
Okay.
Lord.
is the first Sith Lord. Thank you, Wyatt. Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was
Created the
Riven.
Order of the
I've,
Sith.
I mean, I haven't played KOTOR in.
But in KOTOR, you would know that as Revan, you go to Korriban, which names something different in the movies, and it has all the tunes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I literally
Yeah.
played the game like, yeah, a long time ago on the original Xbox. Oh, cool.
See,
Yeah.
this is why this
There
is
you
a
go.
victory for Jon Favreau because like we're hoping that they
Yep.
do something like this. Like when you mentioned it in a movie, like part of my right eye stopped seeing for a second because a blood vessel burst, and I thought about the movies I just watched, right? But then the TV show, I'm like, okay, well that would be if they can do that, or at least something like that, then that would be fantastic, especially with Knights of the Old Republic. Because now I'm like, I want to see it, but then I'm getting that guardedness up. Like, fuck, they're gonna ruin it.
So let me ask you this. So you say that the the Mandalorian win for Favreau, whatever franchise. Do you think that in the increasing amount of old canon that's coming to be real do you think that's almost like a win for Lucas? Like almost like that's kind of like vindicating?
That's a great question. Yes, I think it is. I think because he created this world, or he either created this world or inspired this world of the extended universe, heir to the Empire, all this kind of, you know what I mean? Like all this kind of stuff. And now it's good. And it's like, people are realizing, like, why would you not use that?
Yeah.
He's the architect of the entire thing. Like, and people always want to nitpick on Lucas for like specific movies that sucked or things that he didn't do very well or whatever. But you got to remember, all of this is still in that original
course,
framework.
dude.
It's
Yeah,
all
of course.
his.
Also like it's kind of like when Disney bought it, they're like, no, nothing is canon, like only the movies, and they like threw everything out. And like they even were like, oh, we'll have George Lucas to come on and talk to us, and this, like, they didn't use any of his ideas. So it's almost like his vindication now that they're like going back and actually like, okay, yeah, we're taking this from like Old Republic. Okay, yeah, we're taking this from this show. Okay, yeah, we're taking this.
It's a silly business model to not do that because
Yeah.
it's like that's what you paid for.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
like why
take
wouldn't you use this like rich stuff? And especially when you start getting into the books and like video games like Knights of the Old Republic. Like that stuff is so good. There is a pop culture attunement to it. It's sorry, I don't even know. I think I made up a word.
No attunement. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
There's
think
like
you're-
like we know it enough where it's the Star Wars IP and it's familiar, but it's new enough where the story itself, especially when you leave the Skywalker saga, that it's new, right? And then we're going into, and then it gets us into an old time frame, telling new stories and that kind of stuff. And I think that to not do that is silly, especially when you have someone who is part of the Marvel world building as running it. Like, you can help, like, partly running it. Like, you can, there's sky's the limits on what you can do if you use the P word, which way we discussed that they didn't use, was planning for the
planning.
movies.
That's not
Planning.
at all what
Yeah.
I thought the P word was.
If you think, you know what I mean?
I was way off.
I don't think you were here for that. I think I was pontificating when you were in the washroom.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it's really, I'm excited for it. I think it's great. And I mean, we'll have to see what happens, moving forward. So thank you very much, guys. I enjoyed this conversation. And apparently season 2 of The Mandalorian is going to be coming out in the fall
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
2020.
Oh,
2020. Yeah,
I
there
did
was a
not even
tweet.
know that.
They
Yeah, there's a
announced
tweet,
it.
yeah.
They announced it when it was over.
That was
That's
a
cool. When the end of the
Mind
season was
Refinery
over.
post, I believe, last weekend from
Yes.
Omar.
Oh.
There is Vaney getting thrown into the
Going
thrown
under
into the
the
bus.
bus.
There's a Greyhound.
I
This
will
bus
always repay the favor.
on these podcasts, this bus gets its miles in.
Listen,
just being
I
thrown under.
I won't throw anybody under the bus other than this guy. That's it.
All right, guys. Once again, thank you very much, and we'll see you later.
All right, take care.
Deuces.
All right, guys, that's the podcast for this week. Thanks for listening in. If you have questions, comments, or just want to fact check, reach out to us on social media. And if you like what you heard or just want to watch dope videos, go to our YouTube channel and ring that subscriber bell. See you soon.